crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. All right, hello. I am Delusion Dispeller live tonight with you, and I brought you a special treat. Not sure where he went. Oh, he's going to shut off the water heater. There he is. The star. My ex-husband, Roland Formholt. Woo! Okay. He said it's perfectly fine if we film him doing the water tank. There we are. We're draining the water tank, Mrs. Analyzer. I know you're going to love this. There's my ex-husband. Water tank. There we are. We're draining the water tank, Mrs. Analyzer. I know you're going to love this. There's my ex-husband working on the water tank. Everybody's happy. Yay, congratulations. We've been waiting and waiting for this to happen. There he is, Mr. America. He really does exist. That's my ex-husband. He is fixing my, well, not fixing it, but installing the new one. There is my beautiful husband in his purple shirt. So if anybody was doubting that, I really do have a water tank. I really do have an ex-husband. And I have a daughter, which you've seen, Amber, so that's not anything new. She is actually opening the other water tank so that her dad can put the water tank in. So there we have it. And that's not actually all of what I was going to talk to you all about tonight. I'm actually going to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, as I said I was. So that's what I'm doing tonight. But I know that somebody had said, well, we want to see him putting it in. We want to watch it happen. Thank you. I love it too. This came from the church. Another pantry specialty. Love the food pantry. I love the clothes pantry and food pantries. Love them all. Thank God for those for people that need them. And we definitely do sometimes. All right. So I'm going to be talking about complex post-traumatic stress disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what our topic is tonight. So, okay.
I thought it was hot water heater replacement.
No, that was it. They just wanted to make sure it was real. It's been an ongoing struggle with Mrs. Analyzer to make sure I get this hot water in because she felt sad for me that I didn't have hot water for a shower or to do my dishes or to clean my cats or my house or whatever. So, all right. So we're going to be talking about post-traumatic stress disorder tonight. I want to get like 20 people in here first, though. To what? Yes. This is the ex-husband whose house I go to take my showers once a week. Yes, my husband and I go to my ex-husband. And my husband is also here because this is our house. This is where we are. So now you know it really is a legit house. And it really is a legit hot water tank. And I really do have a legit ex-husband. Father of all my daughters. So it's for real, people. It's for real. All right. I'm just glad he let me film him. I didn't want to make him uncomfortable, but he gave me permission, so it's all good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. He never cares about that. It's more other guys that care about being on camera. It's cold out there. You need that hot water. Yes, true. Aw, thanks, Susan. You're awesome, too. So, yes, I want to wait till we got 5 more people in here to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder because I think a lot of people either have it or know somebody that has it. And you need to know what it is. You need to know kind of how it affects the people that have it and how it affects the people that deal with the people that have it. So I'm going to be covering both ends of things for the people that are victims of it and also the people that are trying to help the people that have it. And definitely, if you know anything about PTSD, please chime in and let me know the information you have. Maybe you're helping somebody that has it or you're married to someone that has it. It's definitely a disorder that's very common these days, whether you're in the military or the other one, complex post-traumatic disorder or stress disorder. It's something that is a result of many different stressors, whereas PTSD is just usually one stressor, which is generally war fatigue or battle fatigue, they call it. That's PTSD. The other one is CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. We will be talking about both. More so about complex, I think, because that's a more common one. Unless you've been in the military, then you might not know about the other one. So we will talk about it. Anyway, we got 14 people in here. We got a few more to go. How is everybody tonight? We'll just make some small talk here while we're waiting. I've had some really interesting comments, some very nice comments, and some really mean comments. Y'all can be so mean. Not you guys, but people on my comments. Goodness. You had postpartum depression a little bit last year after you had your last daughter, but never PTSD. I've had postpartum depression too. My ex-husband could fill you in on that one sometime. Oh, God. I basically took my baby girl, the one over there that I just showed you. I pretty much tossed her into my eldest daughter's hands and said, here, take her. I can't deal with her. I need to go to bed. I have to sleep. And I couldn't deal with it. I was just so stressed out. And it does really bad things to your hormones. It really does. Not PTSD, but postpartum depression, PPD, I guess is what they call it. Yes, we had a great Thanksgiving. We ate, we saw, we came, we saw, we conquered, we ate, we left. Pretty much short and sweet. We ate the food, we cleaned up our dishes and said, heading out. They were watching football. I'm really not a big football fanatic, except when my grandson plays. It just isn't my thing. Or if the Bills are playing, then I would have stayed and watched the whole thing. But the Bills weren't playing, so it wasn't worth my time. Oh, I bet, Trolls. I understand. It is hard. Very, very hard. Postpartum depression. Awful. Still got 14 in here. Come on, people, get your friends in here. Let's get 20 in here so I can start talking about this. But we can still talk about the Watts situation, too, for now, if you want. That's fine, too. Because, honestly, this whole Watts thing probably gave some people PTSD. Or complex PTSD. Because it has been really stressful on a lot of people. Thankfully, I have a job and a home and stuff outside of the internet so that I'm not constantly focused on it. But Reba, I don't even know where Reba is. Where is my moderator? She has not popped on yet. I guess I need to message her on the phone, let her know that I'm actually online. Because first I told her I was coming online. Then I told her, nope, my ex showed up to do the water tank. So now I'm not going online. And she hasn't popped on yet. Hang on, I'm going to get my phone and text her. Let her know she needs to meet us up. Oh, she messaged me, apparently. All right, just let her know. I said no. So she knows. Now she knows. All right, she should be here pretty soon. I told her now, so she'll know she needs to pop on. Preseason means winter is coming, and Super Bowl means it's springtime. That's all you know about football.
Springtime.
That's what she said.
No, football in February?
Oh, my ex-husband says you're wrong. He says you're wrong on that. She said the preseason means winter is coming, and Super Bowl means it's springtime.
Super Bowl is in the first week in February. I don't think that's spring.
What is that then? Is that still winter?
February 1st?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's still well, to him it's still winter. Most of us think February spring. I thought it was.
February spring? February's the coldest month of the year.
Okay, so he says no, it's winter. Go Pack, go, even though we aren't doing that great this year. Go Packers. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Bills fan. And if Bills are playing, I might watch it. But other than that, probably not. All right, I could start talking about PTSD and CPTSD. Oh, by the way, we're supposed to get a big snowstorm here in Illinois very soon. So.
Until 6 to 8 inches big.
Oh, there you are, Reba. Hi, girl. I'm glad you got my message. Sorry. First, I told you, no, I'm not going on because my ex got here. And then he said, go ahead and film me. I don't care. So I've been filming him doing the hot water tank. Here he is. Give you another preview of him digging away down there, draining it out and putting it in. I know nothing about it. That's his forte. Nothing. Well, whatever he's doing. Draining it. Anyways. He might be back here tomorrow working on it again. I guess it's a big to-do. I don't know anything about it, like I said. Hey, Daisy Sushine. Sunshine? Okay, whatever. You left the N out of it, I guess. Somebody must have taken the name, so you had to redo your name. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he helps me out a lot, actually. He's the one whose house I go to for my shower. That's the one. Yes, great. I have a good relationship with with my ex. That I attribute a lot to the classes we both had to go through to make sure we didn't turn the kids against each other and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Plus, we both kind of figured, like, we're going to be in each other's lives. We may as well get along civilly because it's kind of dumb to hold grudges and constantly be against each other. Yeah. I know that's rare. It's very rare that, yeah, co-parenting, although my kids are adults now, so they're a couple of them are parenting kids of their own. But yes, we co-parented. I guess you could call it that. That's the politically correct way of saying it. We just basically chose to get along, plain and simple. Yes, I'm getting it put in. That's right, Susan. I'm happy to. All right, one more, and we got 20 in the room. We got 19. Maybe we'll have 40 tonight. Oh, there we go, 20. All right. I feel like an auctioneer. Can I hear 20? Can I hear 20? All right, we got 20. Here we go. We're talking about CPTSD and PTSD tonight. There's many different signs of both, and we're going to just go over as much as what I can that I know about all of it, okay? So first of all, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, generally is what they term what military people have. Men, women, people that have seen people blown up, shot, and otherwise demolished in icky, disgusting ways that stay in their mind and they can't let it go. That's PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Then there is also complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is what your normal everyday person gets that has never been to the military. There are more things that cause complex post-traumatic stress disorder than there are PTSD. PTSD is generally just what I just said. People traumatized in the military. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder is a psychological injury that comes from prolonged exposure to social, interpersonal trauma, disempowerment, captivity, entrapment with lack of loss, or a visible escape route for the individual. Lack of loss? I don't know what that means. Entrapment with lack of loss? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just reading you what I have. I took this from my other video that I made a while ago. Basically, it means that there isn't anybody necessarily dying, but you're trapped somewhere, like you're kidnapped, possibly, and you have no way out. Having little or no control over your circumstances, or, like I said, being trapped with no way out. That is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because I wanted to talk to you about something else before that. I want to talk to you about some of the general things that can happen when someone's traumatized or abused. Catastrophizing all the time. Have you ever met somebody that everything is like a huge deal? They make a mountain out of a molehill. It's not a big deal. Why are you making such a big thing out of this? Why are you so freaked out over a little thing? They blow up tiny things like they're major issues, the end of the world. It makes the people around them feel like rolling their eyes. Oh, brother, here we go again. Huh?
Make sure you tell your friends I don't even charge you.
Oh, yeah. My ex-husband doesn't charge me for this, by the way. Putting the hot water tank in. That's true. You don't. Thank you, by the way, for that. And it also makes you go, really? It's not that big of a deal? Why are you getting so stressed? Let it go. That kind of stuff. Blame shifting. Some people have trouble accepting responsibility because they see someone else as always the one to blame. Yes, gaslighting too. Making you think you're going crazy. Thank you, good man, for taking care of Dee Dee. She is such a wonderful person. Dee Dee is Delusion to Stellar, in case you're wondering. I'm Dee Dee to everybody on here. They hardly ever call me my real name. I'm Dee Dee. And if they complain about me, Dee Dee said this. Dee Dee said that. Did you go in Dee Dee's room? Dee Dee was saying this. Your dad. What? Okay, anyways. All right, yeah, it's 280 something for labor. We found out today. If they were going to install it, it's another 280. In fact, you're paying the same amount almost that you paid for the hot water tank to have it put in. So thankful for my ex-husband, definitely, for doing this for me.
If it's $300, I had somebody else do it.
Yeah, easily.
For somebody else.
Yep. Okay. So, oh, and I could say, don't you feel ashamed for telling me that I don't really have an ex-husband and I'm not really putting a hot water tank in? But that's ridiculous. Why would you try to tell somebody they need to be ashamed because something changed or something wasn't the way they thought? That's crazy. Anyway, but I could do the same thing to everybody else that's said that to me. Don't you feel ashamed? He's really here. Can you see that behind me? He's really here. I didn't make it up. That's not a mirage behind you. It's not an illusion. That's really my ex-husband. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I'm just being silly. Like everybody else is that says I should feel ashamed of myself. All right. So, blame shifting we went over. Avoidance will withdraw to avoid criticism or confrontation. So there's those just a few general things that people are likely to react as if they have been traumatized, prolonged trauma. All right, so that was just general stuff. I just wanted to share that real quick. All right. Some of the things that cause actual complex post-traumatic stress disorder are abuse, slavery, torture and imprisonment, boundaries being violated, gaslighting, yes, there that word is, bait and switch, double binds, power posturing, splitting, being raged at, hoovering, which is when somebody has tossed you aside but lurks really close by to suck you back into the toxic relationship again. Caring for a long-term patient, like a chronically ill patient or a fatally ill patient, somebody that's dying, can cause that when you're caring for them for a long period of time. Long-term exposure to any crisis. All of that can cause complex post-traumatic stress. After a while, people in these situations hold on to the same feelings and fears and the bad things happening again and again, as if they're happening in the current time that happened in the past. As feelings come to the surface, panic results. And you've seen that in people that have these disorders. You'll see them jump, you'll see them scream, you'll hear them say no or whatever because they feel like, something bad is going to happen, impending doom. Especially if like somebody pops a balloon near them, they might freak out. Or like, for instance, there was one lady that had really bad complex post-traumatic stress. And she was in a recliner chair, but it was kind of a rocking chair. And I kind of leaned on it, so she felt like she was falling backwards. And she screamed the loudest scream and just about jumped to the ceiling. I never saw anybody react like that. And she got really angry with me. She said, "Don't do that." I'm like, "Why? What happened? I'm sorry. I just bumped your chair." She's like, "You don't understand. I have PTSD." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know." It was somebody I was just meeting for the first time. Actually, somebody from the internet, believe it or not. Fires can cause it if you're in a fire. If you're in a flood, maybe I have PTSD. There's a diagnosis for me. Those of you that have been trying to diagnose me with everything under the sun, from schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, narcissism. What else have you labeled me? Oh, besides a moron and fat and a fat butt and all that stuff. My ex-husband says I have workman's disorder. No, you have workaholism, remember? Anyways, busyness, yeah, busybody syndrome.
Yeah.
Except literally his body is busy. The man works all the time. He always has. All right. So let's see. So yeah, PTSD could be one of my diagnoses. I have been through a flood, and it was a terrifying flood, and I've talked about it before. I never felt anything like that before or saw anything like it.
How were you through a flood?
The flood where we sandbagged in Davenport, Iowa. And I came, listen, hello. I came back here with Sel, my second ex-husband, and the flood waters went up under our knees inside the house. Our tiles were floating, our carpets were floating. Yeah, I was in a flood. And then you look out the window and it looked like flipping Noah's Ark with waves and stuff. It was so bad out there, and it was dark. So it was scary. It was like being on an island or something in a ship. And I was just hoping the ship wasn't going to sink with me in it. All right. So anyway, mostly I was scared for my cats because My ex was like, I'm going to stay and go down with the house no matter what happens. I said, you're crazy. I'm going up to my daughter's house. You don't remember Sal saying that? I'm going down with the house.
I was screaming and crying, basically.
And he was saying, I'm a warrior. I'm going to fight for the house. He was part Indian. So he thought he was like an Indian warrior. He was going to stay here and go down with everything.
To do with it.
Well, he had other issues too. Still does. All right. Anyhow, yeah, so you understand, Susan, you were in the flood, I guess. Oh, you were sick from an infection from a surgery. Oh, okay. Were you in the flood though? I was standing there and water was literally rising up to below my knees, and I was afraid it wasn't going to stop rising. My daughter, Amber, the one that you just heard from over there making all kinds of noise on her phone, she was terrified and screaming at the time. I think you were what, 11 at the time? 10 or 11 or 12 or something?
No, I wasn't. I was older than that.
Oh, okay.
I was like 15.
Were you?
Yes.
You were 10 when I married him.
No, I wasn't. I was 10 when you separated from Dad.
Oh, okay. So that would have made you 13 because that was 3 years later, not 15. Yeah. Okay, she was 13. Anyways. Yeah, then you know what I'm talking about, trolls. Anyhow. So the floods can do it, fires can do it, abuse can do it. If you went through intense, prolonged abuse, that can also give you CPTSD. Traumas affect different people differently. Everybody has a different resilience to trauma. Not everybody's going to bounce back like other people do. But not everybody's going to be devastated by trauma like somebody is either. So everybody's different. Some of the things you might see with someone that has CPTSD is being on edge, like always looking over their shoulder, always nervous, always worried that something bad's going to happen, impending doom, like I said. Fear, that's kind of similar. Bursting into tears for no reason at all that you can see, but in their head and their minds, they see it. They might feel like failures and like nobody wants them around. They might avoid people and stay away from them for fear of being abandoned by them and rejected by them because they don't understand them. They could be distracted easily. They could have trouble paying attention at work and at school. People with CPTSD often feel a need to have someone else control them because they feel so out of control of their own lives. They're afraid to make decisions because they're afraid they're going to have something bad happen to them. They're going to make the wrong decision and they're going to get hurt. Often these people end up in narcissistic relationships and codependent relationships because they literally become so dependent on other people because they're so scared of their own choices and their own reactions to things. This disorder can turn into an inner rage, can also result in mental illness, anorexia, eating disorders, bulimia, addictions, codependency, and like I said, bonding in toxic relationships with uncommitted, narcissistic, abusive, or neglectful people. CPTSD people try to keep reliving past abuses to get them right. They will relive their childhood sometimes in their mind. This disorder can be seen accompanied by violence or control behaviors, high adrenaline. These are the people that are daredevils and do crazy stunts. Addictions, or by the person becoming a rescuer of people, feeling like they have to step in and be somebody's savior, that kind of thing. Post-traumatic stress, as I said, was one short-term trauma after a situation, and it causes people to act in ways that are not healthy to them nor comfortable for others. Extreme pain, extreme abuse, impending death, all those things can result in that. It feels like the terror of a person that's running from the killer in a horror movie. That's what people have described the reactions as. You know how when you're watching, I don't know if you watch horror movies. I hate horror movies. But when I used to watch horror movies back in the day when I was a kid, it's that ba-dum, 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 like on Jaws, or the killer's coming with the thing in their hand. They're coming to attack the person, and it's that heart pounding thing, and got to get out of here. They're going to kill me type of feeling. And that's what PTSD and CPTSD people feel all the time, or very often. They feel that real high adrenaline rush. Yeah, adrenaline. Thank you, trolls. Exactly. You literally took the words right out of my mouth, or I took them out of your hand or something. I don't know, but you hit on it. Yes, adrenaline rush. They also have sleep disturbances. They have a lot of trouble sleeping. Um, as you know, this is one of my current husband's diagnoses is CPTSD, although they say PTSD. For some reason, they don't put the C on there. But it really is CPTSD because he never was in the military. But he's been traumatized as a child and as a young adult and even as an older adult. Not by me, but other people. And he definitely goes through some of these things, especially the sleep disturbances. He has a lot of trouble sleeping. And when he does sleep, a lot of times I'll hear him moan like somebody's hurting him, like, and I'll come in, I'll say, Matthew, are you okay? I don't know. Are you having a bad dream? I don't know. He doesn't even remember his dreams, which to me remembers just about everything like it was yesterday. That kind of stuff. I don't get that. I don't understand how you don't remember your dreams. But somebody that's been traumatized will repress that stuff. So you have night terrors, Susan? I used to have those as a kid really bad. So I know what you're saying. People with PTSD or CPTSD try to avoid the startle reflex. So they don't like being in situations where somebody's going to suddenly jump out at them and scare them because it feels physically painful to them. It's like they wear their nerves on the outside, if that makes sense. I already told you about the chair situation where, it freaked that person out. So that's one evidence of that startle reflex situation being in overdrive. People with this disorder also attempt to avoid things that cause fear. They resist conversations. They resist socialization. Anything they can do to not hear about something that reminds them of the triggering event or trauma. They feel fatigued a lot. They just feel exhausted because they don't sleep right. Therefore, they don't go through the rapid eye movement, which I believe EMDR would be really helpful for people with PTSD. And I think they use that for that. And if you don't know what EMDR is, it stands for eye movement desensitization. What is the R? Refocus or something? I don't know if anybody knows specifically what that is. I know how to do it now, and I know what it does, and I know it works because I did it once with my husband, and it helped him relax. So it was excellent. Yes, they do use EMDR for PTSD. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I know they use it for like bipolar disorder and anything that will cause you to lack sleep. It's really good for reprocessing. Thank you. Eye move, yeah, eye movement. Oh, gosh, now I'm losing my train of thought. Eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing. Thank you. Now I think I got it right. What that is when you go to sleep and you dream, especially, you have rapid eye movement, which means your eyes are moving back and forth like this. Oh, that's cool, Angela. Somebody that's a therapist told me, don't you dare try that with your husband because you're going to hurt him. I'm like, we can't afford a therapist right now. I have some psychology background. I'm going to try it. I've tried everything else. The poor man is suffering. I'm going to try it. And it remarkably worked for him. It really did. I watched a YouTube video of it and I tried it and we haven't had any repercussions from it at all. In fact, it has helped. Now, we only did it one time, and I'd like to do it again with him, but it's a long process, and he gets bored really easy because he's also bipolar and ADHD. So he's like, can we speed this up a little? Yeah, he doesn't have the attention span to sit there all that long. But we can still talk through things without even doing the eye movement part, but sometimes it works for him to add it in. All right. So yeah, EMDR would be an excellent idea for somebody with complex post-traumatic or yeah, you wouldn't worry. Thank you, Angela. Anyhow, let's see. They also sometimes feel numb, and my husband has told me sometimes he feels numb, like just kind of blah, like no feelings whatsoever, just I'm here, I exist, that kind of thing. People with this disorder have a really quick trigger response, and they'll often do things without thinking first, which is kind of scary if you have somebody that really has this bad because you'll find them doing things that are kind of dangerous. I can't think of anything in particular, but if somebody wants to type something in that you can think of, that you've seen somebody with this disorder, or maybe you have the disorder and you know that you do something like spontaneously without thinking, triggered, like jumping under something, or maybe jumping on top of a table because you're scared, things like that. That's kind of the things that they do, and they could fall off the table and get hurt. They might jump off of a porch and not even think because something happened to them. They were chased and had to escape with their life or something. You don't know. Jump out a window maybe because they were kidnapped. Could it be OCD symptoms? You know, there could be a crossover with PTSD or CPTSD with OCD. I wouldn't doubt it. There's a lot of comorbid disorders that occur together. So that's highly possible. Angela, do you know anything about that? You have clients, so I'm guessing you're a therapist of some kind. And you might have told me, but I don't remember because I talked to so many people during the day. But you could answer that question probably better than I could. I don't practice in a clinic, so I wouldn't be really sure of that. Anyway, so you can answer that if you want to, while I'm sharing the next point. So people with this disorder also can act like a robot as if a button is pushed. Like it's that fast. It's like, bam, they're on it, whatever it is. You know, somebody comes in and say the person was attacked physically by somebody in a gang fight or something. They're going to be triggered, by any type of like sudden noise. Somebody yelling maybe would literally make them jump on the floor and take cover like this, literally. That's one of the things. A lot of times they feel like they don't fit in with like the neurotypical people, or like they stick out in a crowd, or like everybody's watching them. Oh, hi, Kelly. Awesome. Thank you for coming in. You have CPTSD? Then definitely please chime in and share your experiences, and I'll even give you time to do that when I'm done talking. That's why I really need to get this situation where I can have all of you talk and not just me. We're working on it. I got to talk to my cousin about that. She's really good with that stuff. I'm gonna like arrange a go meeting thing or something. Go-to meeting. I'm working on it though. By the end of November, I should have something figured out where we can all talk and have microphones and speakers and stuff. All right, so they kind of feel like they stick out to the point that other people won't be comfortable with them, or they'll notice them and it'll be very uncomfortable. I think maybe there could be comorbid diagnosis with avoidant personality disorder on this too, because they avoid things. So it makes sense to me. Sometimes people with this disorder also have trouble showing empathy. They're very caught up in their own experiences and in their minds that sometimes they forget that if somebody's hurt around them, they may be getting triggered at that moment and they just don't know to, reach down and help that child up or that person up, or to ask them how they're doing or whatever. It's not that they're non-empathic. It's that they're so triggered all the time and so on edge that they're not able to show empathy because they don't think about it. They're not focused on that. They get very caught up in their own world sometimes. They can often have trouble in passionate relationships with triggers, like in a romantic relationship. That could trigger them if somebody comes up behind them and just puts their arms around them in a tight hug. That can make them jump. I have symptoms of PTSD from some of my past traumas, and I'll even tell my husband, he'll come up and go like that on my shoulder, just kind of pat me. And I've often told him, don't do that, because you like literally freak my brain out. It makes my brain jump really hard, and it almost hurts. It's almost physically painful. I can't really explain what it feels like unless people have actually felt it. It's just the weirdest feeling. But it's just, he doesn't mean anything by it. He's just like, hey, buddy, old chum, like pat, pat, pat. And I'll be like, don't do that. So, oh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to show everybody. Look at everybody. There is the empty cabinet without the hot water tank in it, the old hot water tank. And see that hole right there? That is my bathtub hole. It does not have one of those little lifty things on the drain. He's going to put all that in and fix everything for me, or us, so we can have a bath and a shower. And this will be almost like a real house. Awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait. It used to be a beautiful house before the flood. when my mother-in-law lived here, which is his mother, and her husband, it was gorgeous. I mean, they had carpeting, flooring, a divider wall up here, and it was just a nice house. But after a flood, it's a mess. Okay, so, yeah, okay, so we're talking about relationships. They often have trouble with passion. Like I said, if somebody comes up and hugs them tight, or even forcefully kisses them, or maybe they come up and playfully run into the room and push them onto the bed and land on them, just being goofy, you know, that can trigger the heck out of somebody with CPTSD. That can freak them out. So somebody that you're with, if they don't know that you have this, I urge you to tell them that you do. And if they know that you have it and they don't respect that, then I wouldn't stay with them, because there's no sense in staying with somebody that constantly purposely triggers you all the time. People with CPTSD are often paranoid. They're really, really scared people sometimes. They're afraid of everything going wrong. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing. They're afraid something bad's going to happen. Paranoia is part of schizophrenia too. So it's kind of the same thing, even though they might not have the schizophrenic part of it where they hear voices or hallucinate and stuff like that. But they do get triggered and they do have flashbacks. So it's very similar, I would say, to what a schizophrenic person feels. That same fear, that same intenseness that makes them so scared and so hesitant to do new things. Sometimes they harm themselves. They might be cutters. They might burn their skin. I don't know. Anything to avoid those triggers and those flashbacks and those fears. It's terrifying. So if cutting themselves makes them not think about that stuff, they might try that. They might do that. A lot of people die from suicide from CPTSD and PTSD. Really bad. It's something that definitely needs to be under the care of a therapist and a physician. They will have sometimes body pain with no reason that a doctor can find. It's like a somatic symptom. That's what they call it, I think. Where something will hurt them and they go to the doctor over and over and they're like, I don't see anything. There's nothing I can diagnose you with. But that person genuinely feels that pain. I've met people like that. And it's really frustrating because you want to ease their pain, but there's nothing causing it that you can see. There's no bruising. There's no cuts. There's no wounds that you can see. So you can't fix it. You can't wrap it in a bandage. You can't put ice on it. There's nothing there. I mean, you can try, and maybe if mentally the person can kind of psych themselves to feel like comforted, then that might work. But with CPTSD, there's no guarantee of that. They often feel very angry and they're very reactive people. Anything that you say or do, they can feel like you're doing something against them even when you're not. They don't tend to like themselves sometimes. They know that they act out and they kind of feel ashamed. And so it's important, if you know somebody that has this, to assure them that they're not bad people, that they have a disorder, they have something that's troubling them and triggering them, and you don't blame them for their reactions, and you don't blame them for feeling, like they can't function in a healthy way. And hopefully that'll help comfort them enough that they can get the help they need or just feel reassured and valued and validated. They have a lot of trouble functioning on the job, at work, at home, in public, everywhere. It's really hard to have this disorder, and it's hard to function in normal society with it. Now, if you are the loved one of somebody that has this disorder, realize that even though we can't relate or empathize with people that have this in an extreme, it doesn't mean that you don't care for the person, and that person also needs to hear this. It doesn't mean we don't care for you because we can't relate or empathize with you. We know you're going through pain. We know that it hurts. We know that it's very real to you, even though it's not real to us. But we don't know how to fix it, and we're frustrated. We're not likely to experience, for instance, the same kind of panic feelings that you do in situations like, for instance, if you're late getting home and you're expecting us to be so angry or so freaked out or so scared that you didn't call us and you're home late, realize that we don't react the same way you do. You might freak out if we're not home on time, but we don't think to do that because we don't have the triggers that you have, if that makes sense. We don't catastrophize, if that clarifies it. We don't make things like really huge that aren't. So we can't really relate to somebody that does that very easily. So it might seem like we're insensitive, but we're really not trying to be. We just honestly don't have that same reaction. We might forget to not push you into things, or we might expect you to just do things that are normal for neurotypical people. We might have everyday expectations of you that you're not able to meet. For a non-sufferer of post-traumatic stress or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, for instance, going to a new place or having a new job interview, we won't be able to relate that you would be freaked out over this. We're going to just go to the job interview. We'll be a little nervous, but, you know, we'll either get the job or we won't. We'll just go in and do what we got to do and talk to them. And so we can't relate when you have a job interview and you're literally freaking out. Your hair is standing on end. You are just panicking in major panic mode. We don't understand that. We're like, just go in, get it over with, get it done. You know, push through your fears. We don't realize that that's not how it's going to work for you, because we're not in your skin. We're not in your head. So a lot of times we don't understand each other. I'm reading your comment here, Kelly. Ex who died tried to kill me and beat me daily. 15 years of that. He died from diabetes. I have learned to manage CPTSD very well, beginning work as a teacher. Awesome, Kelly. I work in that field too. I'm not a teacher. I'm a teacher's helper, teacher's aide. But that's an awesome field. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm glad you're managing the CPTSD. That's awesome. How are you doing it? What are you having treatment, or what would you recommend other people look into for that? Huh?
I didn't say anything. I said, whoa.
Oh. Anyway, I'll let you post that while I continue. I'm almost done anyway. So, in the case of somebody with actually, cognitive therapy. Okay, that's excellent. Yes, cognitive therapy is wonderful. My ex-husband and I sat through lots of cognitive therapy because he had CPTSD, and he also had bipolar, and he had dementia, and he had all kinds of stuff that I have yet to find out about next time I see him. Anyways, some military trainers actually use something called what is it called again? Reprogramming or something. It's to prevent triggering from beginning during the military. When a person goes to war, they often get triggered. They come back with PTSD a lot because they're seeing horrifying things. But there is a way, and I don't know how they go about it, but there's a way to kind of prime the mind so that when you go into war or battle, it doesn't affect you like that, where you're going to get triggered afterwards. You're not going to come back with PTSD. So it's just like a preventative thing. And I don't know what it's called, but maybe somebody can find out what it is. Anyway, somebody that has any type of post-traumatic stress or complex post-traumatic stress, be there to listen if they want you there. Don't force them to talk, but be there if they want you there. Let them share as much as they're comfortable and able to share. Ask them to talk about their nightmare or what triggers them. Okay, let's see. Realize.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's cool, Callie. Hey, whatever works, right? That's a good channeling of the fear in a healthy way. I love that.
Instead of coming out the side.
Yep, you wanted to get out and face the things. I gotcha. Good for you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story tonight and for trusting us with your story. It takes a lot of courage. Realize, if you are the person with post-traumatic stress, that those of us that are helping take care of you, we can't avoid those triggers all the time. We don't know what's going to trigger you. We don't want to trigger you, but we can't guarantee we're not going to hit those triggers. That's very hard for somebody that is on the other side of it to make sure that we're not triggering you. We don't want to walk on eggshells, but yet we want to handle you with kid gloves, if that makes sense. We're not in your brain, so even if we try to help you, your trigger may still keep going. We can't stop your trigger from happening. We can't stop the flashbacks. We can't stop the triggers. We wish we could. You might get angry with us or even hate us, but it still doesn't mean we can magically cure your problem, no matter what you say to us or no matter what you do. Unfortunately, we can't fix it. So what you need to do is exactly what Kelly demonstrated here tonight that she's doing. You need to practice good self-care. get your therapy, and get coping skills so that when those triggers come, you can do your breathing, slow down your breathing. You can do what's called being present. There's one exercise they taught my husband. What are you smelling right now? What are you hearing right now? What are you seeing right now? What are you feeling right now? He has to go over, I think, 5 senses, and he has to look and see, where am I in this present moment? Because a lot of times with PTSD and CPTSD, it takes you to the past. It takes you into fantasy. It takes you into another realm, and you're not fully present in the now. So that's what you need to do. You need to stay present in the now. And if those things that I just talked about, what am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I smelling? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? If that helps you to stay present in the now, that's a good thing. So breathing, practicing being present. Sometimes music helps people with CPTSD as long as it's not a triggering song. Tactile touch sometimes helps people. Patting themselves, petting themselves, sometimes even giving like pinches, anything to, you've probably seen in movies, oh, pinch me. I don't know if I'm awake. I don't know if I'm here. That's very real to somebody with CPTSD. Getting some kind of stimulation so that you're actually present. You need that, you know. I've heard of brushing for children that have trauma experiences. They take a literal brush and brush their skin. It's a sensory stimulation. It does something to trigger the brain to relax or something. I really don't understand all that stuff. I haven't specialized in treating kids that have been traumatized specifically, but I do work with some that have been. And we don't do that, but I'm just saying I know that that is one technique. Hi, Lee. Long time no see, girl. Welcome back in. So anyway, that's really all I had to share tonight about CPTSD and PTSD. I hope that was informative and maybe validated some people that needed to know that that word is getting out, that this is a real thing, and that you really do have issues, and that we got to try to be compassionate and encouraging and validating to you, because sometimes you feel really alone. And nobody deserves to feel alone. Seriously. It's a very bad feeling. And that's why a lot of suicides happen, because they feel alone in their own mind. And then when your mind knows that you're alone and feel alone, it starts playing tricks on you and talking to you, telling you do all kinds of manner of things that you don't need to be doing, like drinking or starving yourself or punishing yourself or whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lee, that's cool. Yeah, so you're not alone, Kelly. That's awesome. And you're going out to work. Good for you. So, does anybody have anything to share or add or want to explain or want to ask me questions? Go for it. I don't have anything else to share tonight, so it's on you, whatever you want to share. And by the way, that song Crazy that I played in the beginning of this video was not meant as an affront to anybody or to put you down. It was just sometimes we feel crazy because we're dealing with stuff, CPTS, I can't say it now. CPTSD, CPTSD, whatever it is, whatever I've been saying all night, we're dealing with that, some of us. And PTSD. Am I still going to be doing a live with Go Lightly? Well, if she wants to. I heard she was talking about doing one with me. Oh, Michi, you need me? Meech, you want mommy? Oh, come here, Meech. Oh, my Meecha. You're calling mommy. You were out in the rain, huh? You need mommy to warm you up, dry you off? Yeah. I'm happy to do a live with her with Go Lightly. I don't know what we're going to do it on. It's going to be real interesting. It's going to be like oil and water, I have a feeling. Oh, I'll have to get in touch with her then. Hey, Matthew. Reba says hi. He says hi. Oh, okay. No, it's real. If she wants to do it, it's real. I'm cool with it. I always want to do collabs with people. I like doing joint contributions. It's fun. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry, Lee. That's terrible. Oh, jeez. Oh, that'd be fun, Lindsay. Yeah, call-in coaching shows, like a hotline. Well, first I have to find out what Miss Golightly wants to talk about and what she thinks of me, and if she thinks I'm credentialed enough to compete with her life coaching skills. I don't know. It's up to her. I don't know about call-in coaching or how I'd even do that, but that would be kind of fun. Wow. I am so sorry, Lee, about that nurse. And, well, and your sister, of course. Gosh. Yeah, I would take anonymous calls and be a helpline. That'd be awesome. That would be a lot of fun. You're welcome, Lee. I don't know what to say. That's so devastating, though. Oh, my gosh. Ugh. It's sad that nobody could intervene before that happened, you know? Sometimes people just commit suicide. I mean, sometimes there's no real warning that people notice. It's not always that they leave signs, even though they say, oh, well, look for the signs, blah, blah, blah. Not all the time. Not from what I've heard. You just gotta be there for people, and some people are just gonna do it, and you don't know why. You can't blame yourself. Your sister can't blame herself. There's only so much you can do. People have wills to do what they're gonna do, you know? And when somebody's distraught like that, you just don't know. Anyway, anybody else want to share anything? Reba, you still here? Probably are lurking about somewhere there. Oh, okay. There you are. All right. You forgot what my occupation is. I'm a teacher's aide and a life coach on the side. And a kitty lover. I love my kitties. My kitty. My niece. Yeah, it's awful. So many people go through so many painful things. You're actually going to get that in tonight?
No.
Oh. Look like you're getting it all set up, though.
Guess what I thought?
What?
I have to rerun the supply line because these are on the side, on the top, and the other one's on the side.
Oh, joy.
That's why I wanted to come over here and
check it
see if
out.
we could get it out tonight.
Okay.
So I know what pipe I have to get.
Oh, by the way, y'all, because a lot of people have said, well, you're renting from your daughter. Why doesn't she do something? She's the one that told my ex-husband, you need to get over there and put in the hot water tank. So people are looking out for me. It just sometimes doesn't feel like it because I feel really isolated where I'm located and nobody wants to come here. So it just feels that way. Why do people converse only with questions? Can't find a personality explanation for this. Give me an example, Lee. That's a good question. Definitely no pun intended there. But give me an example of what you mean. Why do people converse only with questions? I've seen that on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where they just keep asking people the person a question back and forth. It's pretty funny when they're doing it that way, but I'm not sure what you mean like in regular conversations when they do that. I've never seen that, I don't think, unless you give me an example and I would know. Oh, you ask somebody, how are you? And they say, how are you? They don't know how to answer you, chances are. Or they're uncomfortable answering. So they deflect back to you. Kind of like playing, what's that game? Tennis. Or they'll say, oh, never mind. That drives me nuts. What did you say? Never mind. I'm like, no, I want to know what you said. That drives me crazy when people do that. Just because I don't hear you the first time doesn't mean I don't want you to repeat it. Yes, deflection. That's what it's called. And when they do that, I say, how are you? And they say, how are you? I say, I ask you first. Now, that doesn't work with my husband, unfortunately. And that frustrates the heck out of me. I'll say, how was your day? He'll say, how was your day? I'll say, I asked you first. And he'll be like, I'll answer you after you answer me. He's a little stinker butt. No, you are. The problem with my current husband is that everything that worked with my other two husbands, my exes, does not work on him. And it's frustrating as heck. You get used to something and it works on the other people. Then you divorce, you remarry, and you try the same thing, and you try all the same things that worked with the other two, and it doesn't work with the third, and you're like ripping your hair out going, okay, great, now what? I ran out of weapons in my arsenal.
Because the first one didn't have any mental disease.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or things to talk about?
They're gonna tell you have no water. So I get back and put this on.
No water?
No.
Okay. Well, it's good I bought bottled water. Yeah, this is me to me. She's my Russian blue kitty, my short-haired. My baby girl, huh? Yeah. Big smile on your face. Okay, Susan. Remember your breathing, girl. Share texts from Chris and Nicole. Oh. I think Mrs. Golightly's doing that. I'm trying to veer away from all that stuff. It's just stressful. And every time I mention anything about my opinions or my views about Nicole, Chris, Shanann, whatever, I get a room opened up about me. She's still saying this. Dee Dee says this. Dee Dee's saying that. Dee Dee's not qualified. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm so tired of it. Hi, Lindsay. I meant Tamara. I already said hi to you, Lindsay, but hi again anyway. I mean, it's just tiring. It's like, gosh, everywhere I go, my name, my name, my name. Just wearying. Yes, you did say that, Leardy. I know, I remember you said that. What's the matter, Mish? Is that you, Amber?
Yeah.
You sound like a cat.
No, it was the cat. Next her.
Wow. You sounded exactly like the cat. Yeah, I don't know where the texts between Chris and Nicole were. Actually, Reba, if you're still in here, you could provide some information about that, I'm sure. Reba's really into this, guys. More than I am. But she fills me in on stuff, and we do share our ideas. Because Reba doesn't... No, it didn't freeze on me, I don't think. Reba does not sit there and say, well, Dee Dee, you're not qualified to say anything. You can't give an opinion. I can give an opinion, and I will give an opinion. And from now on, I'm not walking on eggshells for anybody. And if people want to flame me in the comments, go ahead and flame me. If you're too nasty and crass, I'll have to report you. But if you're not and you're just being mean, I'm going to joke around with you. I'm not going to get offended about it anymore. I'm just going to say something witty and sarcastic. So plan on that. Because I'm not going to get offended anymore. I'm done getting all upset or worrying about it. Oh, sorry it froze on y'all. Anyway, excuse me. I told my husband I'm going to wear black tonight. I like black. And he said, well, it's Black Friday. I said, oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, right? It was refreshing.
Anyhow. Amber, can you come here a minute?
What?
Can you come here a minute?
Why?
I need you.
For what?
A hug? Really? You're going to refuse your mother a hug?
I'm on World of Dance.
Watching World of Dance. I'm going to go over there. I'm coming to you then. Jeez, break my neck on the broom. Amber, look what she's doing. Hiding under the box. That's her under there. Get the box off your head. Mimi might play in that box. Why? Amber, you used to go online all the time.
I don't do it very often. I like
This
seeing
is
other
my
people
daughter,
online.
Amber. Oh, they'll be talking about that now. Oh, she kissed her daughter on the lips. That's so gross. Oh, well.
Barely.
It is not.
You ever been to
Like what? You're welcome to scrounge around, see what you can find. We're the ones that don't have the money for the food, remember? Ugh.
I don't know. I kind of wanted some cereal.
Thanks, Candace. Yeah, that's my youngest daughter. That's my college girl. That's Amber. You want cereal? You can have cereal. What kind?
Okay.
Okay. You're blessed. You just got some milk today. Is the Cool Whip bowl big enough?
Yeah.
All right. Man, Dad's like leaking water all over my floor here. Apparently. All right, I'm feeding my daughter, so.
Maybe I'll get to see Mary tonight while we're at my
Yeah, you will. Probably. She lives
like
there.
that.
She lives there.
She would like that. Not sure if I would.
That's all I can do for today.
All right. Well, thanks
Okay,
for doing
scratch that bowl then.
What?
Oh, look, you're leaving?
Yeah.
All right.
It's the whole what?
Oh, Meech, what'd you get covered in?
See, and electric's here.
Yeah.
The other electric was over here. These pipes are here, and the other ones were here.
I told you to watch it so she don't get down in there.
How? There's no door on it.
But the door is fine.
Well, right now, he's still figuring out whatever.
Wow. Now, I've never seen that.
Whoa. Trip and break my neck today.
Usually helps if you pick up the thing you're tripping over, dude.
I've never seen that in a thing.
Right now, I thought it was
Their ex and current husband in the same house. Isn't that amazing? It happened. For us, anyway. I'm sure people can make all kinds of video comments on that one. Let's see. Hello?
Well, thank you, governors. Symbols.
Watch a couple of other channels, and when anything starts in the line of drama, I click away. I have drama at home. It's exhausting. Yeah, I hear you. I know. I don't like it either. People will say, well, you don't like drama, but you sure start it or you continue it. No, I really don't. I just have fun. And then people come in and start baloney with me. And I feel I have to respond. I've always felt like I have to defend myself in life. Is he installing my tank? Yes, he is. Where is Mrs. Analyzer when you need her, you know? I've been filming the whole thing. He's not putting it in tonight, but he's pulling everything out so he can put it in. Turns out the old tank had the attachments on the side, I guess.
Yep.
And this one has them on the top.
So I have to get some new parts.
So he's got to get new parts for it.
Different parts. But we're coming tomorrow. And
So he'll be back tomorrow to install everything. I'm happy for me too. Thanks, Tamara. I'm sure the whole internet world that's been studying the Chris Watts, Shanann Watts murder trial thing will be thrilled for me. And I'm going to be thrilled for me too. Yes, I'm going to have hot water, Candace.
and take.
We are going to
a
have
quick-
hot water.
You can have a quick shower.
We'll have a quick shower and a quick bath. Well, we had a good bath and shower before, so like the old days, hanging out in the kitchen,
There's
pretty
not
much tonight.
There's not much water.
What do you guys think of the shirt on my husband? I love that shirt. That is that from church? You got some awesome shirts from church. I can't talk.
You never could, honey. You never could.
Whatever. Reba says hello.
Hey, well.
He says hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, so I can make pumpkin spice cookies.
You're gonna do what?
Coffee.
More? You staying up all night?
I put half of my coffee in that stuff.
It's the bad water, by the way. I don't know if it matters to you, but it's the water from the neighbors.
If I die, I die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his shirt is purple.
Yeah, but
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's purple and
Look
I know
at
Billy's
your computer
expecting
screen. It's not purple.
no, I mean it actually is purple. I know on the computer screen you can't really tell.
The computer never lies.
Purple is Tamara's favorite color. Or Tamara's favorite
You
color.
know, before I bought this shirt, it was never one of my favorites.
But now it's his favorite. Bye, honey. See you tomorrow?
no, yeah.
No, yeah.
Are you gonna come with Dad and we're gonna do the painting here, or
Yeah.
No.
is that the plan?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Let me know what you're doing when you do it.
Well,
Or just come. I don't care. Bye. Yeah, my mini me. Yep, pretty much.
Do we need
Yeah.
to buy more of it?
Yeah, even my oldest daughter, people say she's my mini me. My other two, not so much. They look more like their dad or their aunt. What, honey?
We need to get more of it.
Yes, we do. I love Folgers coffee. Hi, hubby and kids and ex-hubby. Oh, they're gone. The ex-hubby and the kid is gone. She lives with him, so now that she's home from college,
How long do you
she's
usually
back with
put the
him.
water on for?
Minute and 20 seconds. Or 30 seconds, either way. So, anyhow. I'm very happy I got to film all that, seriously, because now nobody can say anything about me making it up, and she probably doesn't even live there, and blah, 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 blah. She lives in a trailer. No, I don't live in a trailer. I live in a house. Wish I did live in a trailer. I would even risk being called trailer trash just to have a trailer, because trailers are awesome. Most of them. I lived in a trailer with my second husband, my ex. My first one and I lived in a split level foyer house, or foyer, as they say, and it was gorgeous. I just usually shake a little bit in, however strong I want it. You don't want a lot, because then it'll be like mud water. That's probably good. Who cares what people think? That's what Vainglory says. Hi, Vainglory. I don't think I've ever seen you in here. Welcome.
Oh, man.
I love getting new people in here. Be sure and subscribe if you want, if you like what you see. I'm pretty notorious around these parts. People either love me or hate me. There's no in between. You will hear my name mentioned everywhere. Dee Dee this, Dee Dee that. Dee Dee said this, Dee Dee said that.
I don't believe that's true at all.
What?
People love you or hate you. There's no in between.
Really?
Well, there's plenty of people that love to hate you, and there's people that hate to love you.
Okay.
I'm one of them.
Honey.
What?
You don't hate me. Or love to hate me.
You.
Or hate to love me.
I hate to love you.
You do not hate to love me. Why are you saying that?
It's the truth. We speak the truth online.
Whatever.
Nobody ever lies on the internet.
Trailer house, tent, a home is a home. It's what people make of it, and the love is on the inside.
I would love to live in a tent, maybe. In the summer. Not in the winter.
I would not love to live in a tent because I don't like heat.
You wouldn't love to love?
I would not love to live in a tent. I don't like heat.
And yes, my plan is always to stay up every night. All night. And that usually means going to bed about midnight or 1.
I love you too, Tracy. Glad you all could come in today.
It tastes like ass.
Funny.
What?
Why does it taste like that?
Why does it taste like what?
Like what you said, I'm not repeating.
What did you say?
You're the one using the bad expletives in my nice
bad.
holy
It's
room
in the
here.
Bible.
Whatever. I'm not saying that word. No filter. Whatever.
Why do you think I don't get online?
Well, Mrs. Golightly would love to have you online. And maybe if we do the collab, we'll have you on with us. She'd probably like to meet you anyway.
I can talk crap to the best of them.
He loves Golightly. It's like one of his favorite channels on here. Absolutely loves her. He enjoys watching Mrs. Analyzer too, but he just shakes his head at her because he knows that usually I'll be the topic of conversation eventually. It'll probably be something that's really outlandish. So, yeah, just gotta let him be him. Yeah, it's unfiltered somewhat. I mean, like I always say, if I don't put on the child-proof thing, there's going to be minors that filter into here, and that's not good because then we have to watch what we say. I don't want to have any problems. Sometimes students can wander in here, you know, so we got to be careful about that. Anyhow, tonight has been a good night, very informative. Yes, that's a good one, Candace. I think I've seen that. Our Wyoming Life. I think I've seen that, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Anywho, I don't know what else to talk about. I feel like I've covered every area in the world that I could cover today. We've had a 10-year-old, we've had a 13-year-old. And I have to be careful because they could be students where I work. And I don't want that becoming a problem, if you know what I mean. Yes, that's awesome. Farming and gardening. There used to be a lady on years ago. Hodgepodge Lodge was the name of the show. And she used to teach about farming and gardening and stuff like that. And I'm sure she passed on by now because she's pretty old in the show. And I wish I would have watched it better. But as a kid, you're not really interested in like Mr. Rogers and stuff like that. Not as much as it fascinates you as an adult, I don't think. I did go shopping today. I exchanged my hot water tank, the 12-gallon for the 19-gallon. And I got a couple other things. So you want chickens? Oh, cool. Anyway, I don't know whatever happened to Hodgepodge Lodge. It was a good show, though. It was on PBS, Public Broadcasting System. I'm from Buffalo, New York, so originally. So those were the kind of shows that I watched. Because that's what they showed. A lot of Canadian shows. Because we were like right on the border of Canada. Where we lived. I went to Niagara Falls in Canada a lot. Homesteading is cool too, yeah. Very interesting how people make it, you know, without electricity and stuff like that. And they have the little, what do they call them? Those potties that they have that are not like typical toilets. Compost potties. Yes. Don't think I would like that very much. Oh, gotcha, Vainglory, yeah. Yes, compost. Yeah, fresh chicken eggs. The church I used to go to, the Hebrew Roots church I went to, they had fresh eggs from farms and stuff there. And it definitely tastes different. I actually like store-bought eggs better, to be honest, I do. Just because my body's accustomed to eating them, I guess. Yeah, I'm in a tiny house, Sarah. I live in a tiny house. Although my house is not like a trailer house where they actually have the loft and all that stuff. I would absolutely love to have a house like that. I even thought about like making the shed that we have a house. I tried to. I actually had a room built out there. And then people started putting stuff in storage and just throwing it all over the room. So they ruined it for me. I homeschooled two of my children, actually. My eldest and my third eldest. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? Because I know that people have said stuff about me, about what I do, about my credentials and whatever. If you wonder anything, like I've said before, and I'll always say this, ask me. I am an open book. I will tell you the truth. Well, vainglory, it depends on the kid. Oh, thanks, Martha. Did you come in the same name, Martha? Because I don't remember your name. Homeschooling was fun. It wasn't your typical homeschooling, though. When you homeschool, you can do it any way you want. Hi, Autumn Winter. I remember you from a long time ago. I haven't seen you in forever. Homeschooling the way I did it with my eldest daughter, she was being assaulted on the bus. So I pulled her out and homeschooled her from 6th grade on up until ninth, or up until 8th. She went to the school at 9th, and then I pulled her out and homeschooled her through 10th and 11th, and she graduated after that. She didn't have to go through 12th. With the homeschooling that we did, we used this big, thick, it looked like a coloring book kind of, and it had different subjects on each page. It's called a super workbook or super yearbook. Both of them were kind of the same thing, I guess. And we would just do like a chapter or a page of each chapter each day. So she'd do one on spelling, one on English, one on history, blah, 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 blah. And that's how we did it. And it was very simple. It was not hard at all. Because I homeschooled her in New York, at the time there were no, what's the word? Requirements other than you had to turn in a quarterly report every quarter. Let them know everything that she accomplished, how she did in it, that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly, Candace. And you did a lot of hands-on stuff. We belonged to some support groups. Um, it's really rewarding for the kid and for the adult, really. Oh, wow, trolls. That's pretty cool. Anyway, my eldest daughter, she's actually like a genius. She's like super, super smart, and she's a speed reader. Probably gets it from me a little bit because I'm a speed reader. But she speed reads like even better than I do. That girl can devour a book in a matter of minutes and tell you everything that's in it. She's incredible. She's a medical assistant now in a mental health place. So she's brilliant. She's a very, very smart girl. So homeschooling did not hurt her any. And if anything, she was far ahead of everybody else in her class. I had an awesome Thanksgiving. Thank you. And then my third eldest daughter, we pulled her out and homeschooled her because she was slipping through the cracks in school. She couldn't read in 4th grade. Nothing. She couldn't learn. So we pulled her out and homeschooled her for a year. And then my friend at the time homeschooled her for another year and had her reading within that year, reading novels. So we were really impressed with that. And then I homeschooled her up to 9th grade, and she dropped out and just said, I'm done. I'm not going to school anymore. I don't want to do it. And her father, the one that was standing right back here, working on the hot water tank a minute ago, said, well, you can't force her. Just let her do what she wants to do. So I didn't force her, but I did try to get her in at the local outreach center for kids that want GEDs and stuff. She wouldn't go. And I was like, oh, great. So I'm going to have an uneducated daughter. Well, flash forward a couple years, I get a call on the phone. Mom, need you to sign some papers. I'm getting my GED. She went to whatever school she went to, got her GED, called me again the next year. Mom, I'm getting my hairstyling license. Went to the hairstyling place around here, got her license, decided she hated doing hair, will only do it for the family, doesn't want to go into it as a career, and works at a local hardware store, and just recently got married. So yeah, that's what I did, Tamara. I homeschooled instead of putting them through that misery in the school. The good thing about homeschooling is you can choose the subjects you're going to teach them. If you don't think they need to know about Henry VIII chopping people's heads off, you don't have to teach them that. And you better believe I skipped over those chapters because I didn't want my kids learning that. I thought, why do they need to know this? How is that going to help them in future life, knowing that King Henry VIII killed people? I just don't see it. And also, a lot of the school books are not accurate. A lot of the history books are not accurate. There's a lot left out. There's a lot twisted. So I don't trust them. I'm very much a nonconformist, if you haven't figured that out by now on my channel. Right. They don't follow through. They don't follow. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So many through the cracks, from the cracks. Yeah, no doubt. Yes, they're outdated in public school. Yes, exactly. You're so right, Candace. Yeah, that's true. Very much so. Debauchery. Yep, that's true, Vainglory. Oh, gotcha. Now, my youngest daughter, she went to school. So did my second eldest daughter. Because my second eldest daughter wanted nothing to do with homeschooling and did not want to be with me that much. We didn't click. We still don't click, really. We're too much alike. And we just, I don't know. She doesn't like seeing herself in me, is what I believe happened. I have no issue with her. She has a big issue with me. My youngest daughter, however, yes, I saw the moon last night. It was beautiful. Very, very beautiful. With the face on it. Man in the moon. Yeah, talking about me. Notorious, yes. My youngest daughter went to school. In fact, she went to 11 different schools within 3 years. Because they found out that her school was not teaching them well enough, and they gave us the option to switch her to a different school. So we decided to. So she went to a different school, and then she went to another different school. And then I left my ex-husband, the one that was working on the thing, and we lived in a shelter. Hi, G. Marie. And at that time, she went to another school, and then we switched shelters and went over to the other state, and she went to another school. And then something happened at that school, nothing bad, but something happened that she had to transfer. Maybe it was the grade she was in or something. She went to another school. Then I met my third husband or second husband, sorry. And we moved all the way out to where he was, and she had to go to that school. Then she went into the the junior high school out there. Then we moved back here where we are now in this very house. And she went to the school up the street. And then she moved in with her dad when I married my third husband, and she went to the school near him. So Amber has been draped from school to school to school to school. She's a very adaptable young lady. I always made sure she had counselors to talk to, therapists to talk to about the divorces, about her feelings, whatever. And now she is a college student going for early childhood education. So she lives at college, but she's in visiting her daddy. So it was a lot of change, yeah. That happens during divorce and remarriage sometimes. But she was extremely adaptable, and that's why I made sure she had therapists at school to talk to. And she did talk to them, so. And she always had friends. She's the type that no matter which school she went to, she had friends within a week. Yeah, she's very adaptable. It wasn't the way things were meant to be, but sometimes life doesn't turn out that way, like G. Marie said. What is KNBBCX? I don't know what KNBBCX is. Not sure. All right. Well, anyway, anybody else want to share anything or say anything? It's almost 8 o'clock. I'll stay open till 8, and then I'm going to close down and check out what the other rooms are saying. I'm sure it's going to be interesting. It always is. What are you doing, honey? You're waving your hand around. You can see it because I can see into the room. It's a vague shadow in the distance. Kind of like on Wizard of Oz where that munchkin supposedly hung himself and he's swinging from the tree and it turned out to be a bird or something. Night, Sarah. You too. Oh. Okay, I guess everybody's ready to leave now. They've had enough. I'm going to head to the next room or whatever. So I guess I will leave too. See you next time. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for coming in. Hope you learned a lot and or at least felt validated, like I said. We'll see you next time with another topic. Bye.